from hillbilly crime. You can't hide from hillbilly crime. You may not know that there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair. Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dog passed away, get the sound of a shotgun shell. All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound. Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pine. Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask the cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise. All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be
Talk about cutting it close. How are you? Welcome. Hey, y'all. Welcome to the show. My name is Elizabeth, and this is Hillbilly Crime. Sunday night. I come this close to taking the night off. Man, we got another couple of interview audios to listen to. We listened to one of Sabrina's, I think it was Sabrina's, and then the one that we listened to the other night, I thought was Jennifer Hill. But the more that I listened to it, I realized that was not Jennifer Hill. The girl that was talking referred to her mom, and she said her mom's first name. And I've had a few people reach out to me since we listened to it and said, "Oh no, I know that voice. I know who it is." And the person that they said it was exactly who I thought it was. So, that is the other female that was mentioned in that lawsuit, but she was never identified by name. And I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. I'm not familiar with these kinds of things. If she was mentioned and we heard about the third female whenever the the shooting had first happened and all this stuff started coming out about it, we started hearing about a third female back then, but she still wasn't never identified. She's never been publicly identified. She's been referred to a couple times. I think it was in the deposition. But that makes me wonder why Ned Pillersdorf was not her attorney. So I'm wondering, why wasn't she named in the lawsuit then? Why wasn't, because she must not have been in the lawsuit. Ned was not her attorney. Bethany Baxter, I don't think, was her attorney. I don't know about Bethany, but I don't think Ned was, because I think he said in one of the interviews that he did not represent her. But still, I'm not sure. So we're going to listen to this other one and see if maybe this one's
Today's date is February 25th, 2022. It is 4:13. President Self Detective Easter. I'm at the Kentucky River Regional Jail here in Perry County to attempt to talk to.
And then in
With the Attorney General's office.
yes,
Ned Pillersdorf had contacted me and said you may have some information. Is that correct?
yes.
All right, what information do you have?
About a year and a half, 2 years ago, when I first got out on house arrest, I got out on a Friday, and Ben Fields approached me when he was hooking up my home incarceration bracelet and told me that if I ever could not afford my house arrest, that he could come pick me up and we could do things that would make up for the money that I owed. And I didn't know what he meant at first, because where he was a cop. And I asked him what he meant, and he told me sexual favors. And I told him, I said, no, I said, my husband can pay for it for me. Well, that following Monday, he was back to rearrest me. I hadn't done nothing wrong, hadn't broken my house arrest or nothing. And then in July of last year, I got in some trouble, and I was in jail from July till August and got out on house arrest again. And in August, when I got out on house arrest and was at my home, he was harassing me at first. He was just showing up and bringing the cops up there and stuff. Told me I wasn't allowed to move because I was staying at a relative's house and I was going to rent my own place. And at first he wasn't gonna let me move or nothing, and then he started just showing up at the house. And my husband was gone one day, and I was scared because he'd already locked me up once before. And he told me that if I would get in the car with him, it was around August 1st, maybe, no, around August 15th, something like that. He said that if I would get in the car with him and give him oral sex, that he wouldn't break my house arrest.
August 15th of what year?
Of last year, this past year. And then I've got witnesses that can say that he had been, harassing me. He showed up at my house probably a week straight every single day. Later on in August, he showed up. My husband was gone again. He parks out back. He was in a sheriff's car. He asked me told me, if I'd get in the car and have sex with him. that, you know, he would make sure that I got to stay on my house arrest and everything. So we had sex 3 times altogether, and then oral sex. The last time we had sex was in October. On October 1st, I think it was, or October 2nd, I went to go pay my house arrest. My husband was there, so he didn't come that day. The following days when he came. And then we had sex that day, but a couple of days later when he'd come to do it, wanted to have sex again, I told him I couldn't do it. And he tried to hit me with his stick, and I didn't cut my bracelet off. It was malfunctioned or something, I don't know. But they recovered it. The ankle bracelet was not cut off. But then when I was in jail from October until December. He kept coming. They come and got me several times, want me to write on people and stuff. And then he told me if I would just do what he told me to do, that he would make sure I got out in drug court. Well, I was sentenced to drug court, and when I got out in drug court, as soon as I walked out of the building, because they can rewind the cameras, they'll see him holler at me. When I walk out of the jailhouse, he hollers at me, and I walk out. He hollers at me, and I walk up to him. He looks at me and my husband, and he says, his sister Holly's over the house, or over the drug court, tells me, you need to run. He said, they got a holder on you. And it scared me. So I run, and I was on the run up until February 4th. But I didn't know that anybody else had made any accusations about it. I just thought he was just doing it to me. But Ned said that he had been doing it to, I guess, at least one more other person. I'm not sure. But I was scared, you know, because he's a cop. I didn't know. I'm shaking right now. I didn't know what to do. And I've got witnesses that knows for a fact that he had been to my house multiple times, you know, for no reason.
Did you have any other communication to him other than him just coming to your house? Did he?
Now, you guys can tell. I can. You can tell the way that Matt Easter, the detective, just breathed real hard. He was like, when she got done, because you can tell she ain't lying about this. Now, I think this is Jennifer Hill. The one that we were listening to, the last one that we were listening to, her mom grew up with Mickey Stines. So her mom had a direct communication with Mickey Stines about Ben and what Ben was doing to her daughter. And so that whole thing has been alleged to have taken place. So this detective, now he's talked to 3 different women who have the exact same story on how Ben Fields was propositioning all of these girls. This was his MO. This was the MO of the, which in this investigation, all that they did was accept Ben's. You can tell that they were obviously not concerned with anyone else beyond Ben Fields. They just wanted to sweep this under the rug and make it go away.
I've got some text messages, but my phone, they said, got lost in the Letcher County Jail. I don't know if you can bring it up by my phone number.
Now, that's also something that we've heard several times. These girls who had evidence on their phones, they would go into jail, be arrested and go into the jail, and whenever they got released from jail, their evidence was stolen. And who had access to their phone and their property? Well, none other than Angie Fields, the wife of Ben Fields, and a jail employee for a long time, and was allowed to do whatever the hell she wanted to do. I mean, where was Bert Sloan? You think Bert Sloan had any kind of supervisory? That's why I think with these lawsuits, you know, the buck stops at the top, y'all. It stops at the top. Judge Mullins should have been named in that lawsuit just for the simple fact that it was his chambers all this was happening in. The jailer should have been named in that lawsuit because he either did know or he should have known what was happening in his own jail and how his jail was connected to all of this. They need to have a much broader lawsuit that includes the jail. I don't know how you'd even do that. It would have to be a RICO case. It would have to be federal, and it would have to be for racketeering, which is exactly what it is. But Edison Banks is dead and gone now, so he's not going to face it. But you know what? He's had to face God whenever he died.
Or how, but for some reason they said they lost my belongings.
How did you communicate with Ben when you were on house arrest?
Well, I was on the first one, which I was only out for 3 days when he rearrested me.
Now, how is that the question you ask? After what she just said. Now, we're investigating the investigation, y'all. Somewhere, somebody has got to be held accountable for the decisions that they make. The decisions that these people, the authority, the discretion that they have is, it's so powerful. And they are affecting people's lives every single day with every single decision that they make. It's life and death decisions. It's life-altering decisions. And for these people to have such poor judgment, incompetent judgment, or is it intentional corruption? I mean, I use that word corruption a lot, but let's use something else. Is it intentional tampering with I don't even know. It's not even physical evidence, is it? But he's tampering with something. He's tampering with the whole entire case. How's that fair? When you've got a detective, you've got your own investigator for the prosecutor's office that is tainting witness statements and testimony? How is that not criminal? It is. But who is going to ever bring any kind of charges? No. Because there's either one or two things. They are either complicit and they know all about it, or they don't have the spine to stand up and have any kind of confrontation with somebody and call them out on their misconduct or their criminal behavior. Well, if that's the case, then you damn sure don't need to be an investigator. Or a prosecutor. Because how in the hell are we supposed to trust that you can go in and conduct yourself appropriately in a damn trial? Or in a courtroom, for that matter? How can we trust that your judgment will be unbiased? I don't think we can. I don't think we can trust that. Y'all, we really need to be paying attention to voting that's getting ready to come up. I don't care who you vote for, as long as you vote these damn frauds out of office. Just put somebody new in there. I don't care who it is. They don't have to have any experience, but they would do a better job than what's in there now. You got to get them out. Got to get them out. All of them. From the top to the bottom. Mayors, magistrates, clerks. Get them all out. Prosecutor, get him out. Get that Butler out. He's done burnt way too many bridges.
He was on a regular old house box, but the other one was GPS, so I didn't have to have a phone or nothing. He just showed it up at my house. But I've got multiple witnesses that seen me in his car and stuff. I don't know if they knew what we were doing, but they seen us in his car.
You didn't communicate with him through any of like Facebook or anything like that?
I have text messages, but like I said, I don't have my phone.
Why don't they do a search warrant?
So when did the sexual relationship start? Around August?
There's that word again, sexual relationship. When did the relationship start, Miss Victim? He makes me sick. Like, I get, and do you guys get this kind of response inside of you? Because I get the same response to this guy, this Matt Easter guy, that I get to Michael Clark. And that is saying something really big. I've never known Matt Easter on anything other than this case and all of these different interviews with the investigation. But I get the same response, the same physical response to this guy as I do the preacher.
Yes.
15th?
Yes.
Now, were you on a GPS monitor then?
Yes.
So tell me how that first came about. Yeah.
Like I said about him approaching me, a couple of years ago, a year and a half, 2 years ago, when I was getting out on house arrest, he just approached me. He just said, Jennifer, he said, if there's ever a time that you cannot afford your house arrest, he said, let me know and we can work something out. And I didn't know what he meant at first because he's a cop. And I said, what do you mean? He said, I can come pick you up and we can work things out together. And I said, how do you mean? He said, you do things for me, I do things for you. He said his wife worked at the jail, so I was scared to say anything there because I was being incarcerated in Letcher County Jail at the time.
So he told you this, and was this around August?
No, that was 2 years ago.
So he told you
And
this.
when I denied him that time, I got out on a Friday, and when I denied him that Monday, he was back to rearrest me, and I hadn't done nothing wrong.
So he told you that 2 years ago.
Yes. And then when I got out this time, he approached me again. This when he showed up at my house, probably about, and you'll find it, and I guess maybe the records from the police department or something. They showed up at my house, probably.
You can tell how nervous she is talking to him. He's not, he's also, people say, oh, well, he had to be friends. That's how an investigator does. It's called the Reed technique. He's got to get in there and get buddies with him and da da da. Well, he made himself a lot more buddy and understanding with the man, with Ben, than he did these women. He should have never been in that room even interviewing these women. Should have never been there. They should have sent a female from the sex trafficking task force that they have. And if they didn't have a female from that task force, then they need to get one. They need to get one. I guarantee you there's one that's qualified in the state of Kentucky. They can get one. I think that that is a oversight, or maybe some of this woke nonsense, that a man is perfectly capable of interviewing female sex victims and doing just as good of a job. Well, clearly they're not. Clearly he's not. He's not capable. He's not qualified. That's obvious. That is obvious. And that is my educated opinion. He is not qualified to be conducting this important of an interview. These are women that are accusing a county's public official criminal justice team, you know, for this case to be as huge as what it is. They should have been on their P's and Q's, you know, all their T's crossed and all their I's dotted.
9 or 10 o'clock at night, and had ambulance and everything, and I don't know why. They said that they thought we were OD'd in our car. We were unloading groceries, literally. This sheriff's department. Mickey Stines was there, and he knows I wasn't high or nothing. But he started threatening me that night, telling me if he ever has to come back to my house again, he'll take me to jail. And I had done nothing wrong. And then it started from that night. Because after that, he started coming to my house every single day. And he just told me, he said, if you make me happy, I'll make you happy.
So he's told you this 2 years ago.
Yes.
That's 2 years from August the 15th.
Yes. About a year and a half, 2 years. Around that time. I'm sorry, I'm a recovering drug addict, so I can't remember a lot. I know that my house burnt down about a year and a half, 2 years ago, so it was right around that time.
I'm just trying to get obviously that time frame.
So I don't think this is Jennifer either. Those of you that was listening to that other interview with me the other night, didn't she talk about her house burning down too? The girl that was talking the other night, she said, my house burnt down and da. I guarantee you that this is the same girl that we listened to last night. And that would also explain why why these two audio attachments came through the way that they did. Then they would be of the same person. So this is the third girl is what I'm thinking. This is the same one that we listened to the very last time we listened to one. She's the one that was not named. Yes, he repeats and repeats and repeats the same dang thing whenever she makes a good point, or not a good point, but whenever she tells something really important, and that he could really dig down with follow-up questions, he just changes the subject and goes back to one of his stupid questions that he's done asked 5 times. He does it through all of these interviews. And then I guarantee you, if you go pulled Matt Easter's personnel file, I guarantee you it'll be all through there. I bet he won every kind of award that there is to win. I bet he's got a ton of them with all kinds of recommendations, accommodations. These are the people, and this is the kind of work that gets rewarded left and right. They just pat each other on the back. They all get to live in mansions, and people like you and me have to live in our little shacky places because we don't fit in to their financial circles. They'll do everything that they can to make sure they keep us out. Because there might be a piece of property up here that they want to steal from somebody. Somebody over there might know, oh, well, I'm going to go pay my lawyer $500 to change this will for me. Oh my God, if you guys just knew the amount of fraud and just crimes. I told you this is the white collar crime capital of the freaking world. And they've been using our court. They've been using our court system for decades. I mean, you talk about super troopers, y'all. I mean, they make themselves the chief of police. Well, we didn't have a chief, so I figured I'd just make myself chief. That's what they do here. Oh, no, well, we didn't have a sergeant, so why not? I just figured I'd make myself sergeant. No, and this is no lie. Yeah, that's how it works here, y'all. They just do what they want. It's the wild, wild west up in here.
So we're looking a year and a half, 2 years ago, from August the 15th, he approached you, said, you know, if you couldn't pay for your bracelet, then there's other ways to take care of it. You didn't take him up on that, didn't say anything to him.
No.
You went through your life for that next year and a half, 2-year period. You get rearrested. You're put back on an ankle monitor. And then after that arrest, he starts coming to your house.
Yes.
I believe it.
He's not messaging you or
No, he just started showing
up by himself, but you said that one time
The first time he showed up, he was the sheriff's department, and Mickey Stines showed up, and 3 or 4 other cop cars, the ambulance. But I have to say, I believe that he was the one that had all that set up, because nobody would have called him, you know, say we were OD'd in our car. We were unloading groceries.
What were you arrested for? Can you remember what you were arrested?
So if nobody caught that, let me explain what she said. So she said that she goes home. So she gets out on a Friday and he propositions her and she didn't do it or whatever. And she said Monday he was there to arrest her and take her back to jail. She said he didn't just come by himself. He showed up with Mickey Stines. He showed up with an ambulance. He showed up with all these police cars and him saying that he couldn't get and she and her, they're unloading groceries out of their car. And he says, well, we were trying to get a hold of you and you weren't answering the phone. So no. She said, he said somebody called in that there were 2 people OD'd in a car out here or something. And she said that they all show up though. They're going to take her to jail. So listen to what she says here. I don't think he ended up taking her to jail, but she had to fight. You know, she was like, what are you doing? And he got real rude and mean and hateful with her. Like, it was not a good experience at all. It was very intimidating. And that's exactly what it was set up to do. It was set up to intimidate her. And she says that she thought it was something he had set up beforehand. Like he had gotten all of his buddies and said, okay, let's go out here, or he's had somebody call in or something. But it's something that they've set up, that Ben had set up in advance.
For they got you around that August 15th hearing period? What charge it was?
I'm wanting to say possession.
Who was it? Where was it out of? Letcher?
Letcher County, yes.
You remember who arrested you? Maybe I can.
No.
The deputy?
Whitaker, maybe. I believe his last
Did
name
she?
was Whitaker.
Was he a deputy or a police
I
officer?
believe he was like
Maybe.
the Jenkins, or, no, the first time was Jenkins Police. So it would have been, Ben Stevens.
Jim Stevens.
And the guy, who we talking
What'd
about?
she
when
just say?
You just briefly mentioned.
She's talking about
Can you
Jenkins.
remember what you were arrested for that got you around that August 15th hearing period? What charge it was?
I'm wanting to say possession.
Who was it? Where was it out of? Letcher?
Letcher County, yes.
You remember who arrested you? Maybe I can.
No.
The deputy?
Whitaker, maybe. I believe his last name was Whitaker.
Was he a deputy or a police
I
officer?
believe he was like the Jenkins, or, no, the first time was Jenkins Police. So it would have been,
Jim Stevens.
Ben Stevens.
Jim Stevens. She's close.
And the guy, who we talking about when you just briefly mentioned it was come to your house? What deputy are we talking about?
Ben Fields.
Don't want to get the two mixed up there.
Yeah, that's fine.
So you get arrested for that possession around August 15th, sometime through that period.
The first time when I got arrested, that was the year and a half, 2 years ago. That was Ben Stevens arrested me that time. The second time, I believe his name was Whitaker. And it was in Whitesburg.
And that was the August one.
Yes.
That's okay. You think his name was Whitaker?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's his name.
He worked for the sheriff's office or the
I'm
trooper?
thinking he worked for just the regular Whitesburg Police Department.
Whitesburg.
And I know Tyrone Fields was there that day.
It's okay. So you got arrested there, went to jail, you get back out on house arrest, Ben hooks you up on the monitoring system. How does that work?
Well, that day, I remember plain as day, his grandson was born that day. Because Angie, his wife, which worked in the jailhouse too, was telling us, that she had a new baby, grandbaby coming. And then when I was out on house arrest, he didn't really say nothing to me in the jailhouse that day because he had to put my monitor up in the waiting room. And there was people sitting there. He hooked my monitor up and he was telling me that his grandson, he had just become a grandfather that day. And he said that he would be getting in contact with me for my home placement. When I called for my home placement that following maybe week later, I couldn't get a hold of Ben. So I called Patty, I believe her name is, over the home incarceration, and told her she approved me. And then that very same night or the night after that, it's when all the cops showed up at my house, said that was supposed to have been OD. That's why I believe Ben's the one that had been there that night, because I don't understand how he would have gotten there before the police department would have.
You didn't get arrested that night?
No, but that's the night he started harassing me, and then up until I started doing stuff for him.
So it was the day after your arrest is when he came to the house. And you think that's sometime around the 15th of August?
The 15th is when I got out. I was out of, no, I got arrested, I'm sorry. I was in jail in August.
Now, you would think he would have all of that kind of information already, like before he even goes. He knows who he's going to talk to. He already has been informed of all of this. This is an investigation. You would think that he would have already pulled each of these girls' jail records to see at what time and where they had been incarcerated, especially up there at Letcher County, because that's what the investigation is for. I mean, this guy, he has no idea what questions to even ask. It's intentional. I mean, nobody is this stupid and incompetent. Nobody. Especially someone who has a prestigious lifelong career. Same thing with Ned Pillersdorf, as prestigious and long, and heck, he's married to a Supreme Court person. But yet he did such a piss poor job of that lawsuit. That's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous for them to think that we would believe any of this. It's offensive. That's what offends me, is that they think we're so stupid that we can't see through what they're doing.
I'm wanting to say I got out at the end of August, the 1st of October, at least October 3rd, because that's usually when my fiance gets his check. So I haven't been out by at least October 3rd. I wasn't out a week, and that's when he came to my house that first night. And then the next day is when he came to my house. Maybe 2 days later, at the most, and he was acting like he was looking for a monitor bracelet for a guy named Robbie Collins, I believe his name was. And that day after that, or something like that, after the cops showed up, is when he told me that if I made him happy, he'd make me happy.
I saw Robbie Collins on, Wednesday, whenever I went for my divorce. I was getting into the elevator on the first floor, and I heard the smoke room door open. And so we were standing there, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. I want to see who comes out of the smoke room. And here it come. It was Robbie Collins. He works for the drug court. He's been named in all of the depositions and in the lawsuit. He allegedly went over with with Judge Jimmy Kraft to the sheriff's department and told Mickey that they were sorry that they had heard about Ben, but that they hadn't told him. So that is at the place in the deposition when Mickey gets up and takes a break with Daniel Dotson, and then comes back after that break, and for the rest of the deposition, he don't know his name. He asks if they can repeat the question, and he says, I do not recall the rest of the deposition.
And I had to give him a little sex in his car. It was parked back. There might even be cameras because it's a church parking lot. There's a car. He parked his car back behind where my house was. In the church parking lot, there's like grass on each side. There's a graveyard up on the hill. He parked his car right there and had me get in the car with him.
So we go back over this. So we're talking the second time you get arrested by Whitaker.
Yes.
You said that the relationship started around August the 15th, but then you said you didn't get out till October.
I got arrested on August 15th. That's when all of it first started. When I was arrested that time,
yeah.
When I got out on October 3rd, that's when it started. I'm sorry.
You see how he didn't start talking to her in a chronological way. Like, he didn't ask her questions, and he didn't have her explain this in a chronological order. There was no organization to this at all. Like, what is even your strategy with this with this interview? Because he doesn't have any set of prepared questions. That's obvious. He just asks the same stupid questions that he has asked 10 times. Brr, over and over and over again.
So you got out in October.
Yes, I was arrested on August 15th, something like that.
And then so after October is when he started coming to your house.
I think I was on house arrest for maybe a month when he tried to, like I said that last time when he asked me, I denied him. And then right after that's when he tried to say I tried to escape.
Okay, so you had oral sex behind the church.
Yeah, in the church parking lot behind the house. He was always in that sheriff's car.
What was the name of the church?
I'm wanting to say maybe Free Will Baptist. It's in Hillbilly, Kentucky.
Can where?
Hillbilly, Kentucky. Jack Horn.
Hemphill?
Hillbilly.
Hemphill. H-E-M-P?
Yes.
Okay. Is that after you go through Whitesburg, or is that?
Yeah, you go through Whitesburg to Neon, in Neon, Kentucky. It's up towards Jack Horn.
So he starts coming to your house after you get out in October.
And
Does he just start coming and hanging out with you, or?
he just started, like I said, at first he was just harassing me.
Is he just coming?
And I was scared that he was going to.
Is he just coming to hang out with you? Are you joking? Like, that is one of the gentlemen on one of the bigger networks, well, Vinny Politan, whenever he interviewed Taya was telling her story. He just asked her about her having sex with the judge. He just asked her that question, or about that. And she told him what she had done. And then she says he told her to clean herself up and whatever. And Vinny actually asked her what she meant by that. What do you think she meant by that? She was 16 years old and had just been introduced to the commercial sex trade for maybe the first time, but it was the very first time allegedly that she had done it with a judge or an assistant prosecutor at that time. You know, I understand that there's going to be some questions that you're going to need to ask just to get them on the record and to get the answer on the record. But there's also a professional way to elicit the answers to those questions. There's a professional way to construct those questions, the wording of those questions, professionally, right? I mean, I realize that we're not dealing with very well trained or educated people here, but if you're that high up and you're working for the Attorney General's office and you're this big wig of a investigator, I think you need to get your shit together. Like, this is upsetting me so bad. I can't listen to these without getting so upset, man.
Brought me back up because he had done it before. And so I felt like if I didn't do what he wanted me to, that he would have me put back in jail. And when I denied him, he did hit me, try to hit me to escape, which didn't fit because I did cut my bracelet off. But I did get rearrested for it, and I sat in jail for 3 months.
And is that
Or 2
during
months.
that year and a half, 2 year period that you were out from the first time he propositioned you?
Yeah, he propositioned me twice. the year and a half, 2 years ago, and then this past August.
Okay, when did when did he get the escape warrant on you?
At the end of October.
You notice how he pushed right on past that. She just made a really, really important thing, that he propositioned her twice. And he just pushes right on past and says something complete and asks her something completely different. He does that all the way through all these interviews too, not just with her.
Now, I wasn't even out 19 days because my birthday's October 19th, and he had me hit with it on October 20th. I was rearrested.
And that was 2021, October.
Yes.
So you got out in October, and then you got rearrested for escape
In October.
in October.
And I had just paid my house arrest that day, so why would I escape? I probably went in and out 2 weeks.
Okay. Is that what you're in jail on right now?
Well, I'm in jail for the charges that his supposed to be, that his sister was open for drug court, which I was charged with upstairs and downstairs, and he's the bailiff downstairs.
Yeah, for you guys who are not aware of that, Ben Fields' sister has been over drug court ever since its inception. About what, 12 years now or something like that. So Ben's sister has been completely over the drug court this whole time. So anytime people came forward with any kind of complaints about Ben, hell, his sister was the one running it. I don't know if anything would have gotten up to Judge Kraft. Was she a gatekeeper? Was Robbie Kinzer a gatekeeper? Or did Judge Kraft know about all this stuff? Was he aware of it? I know a lot of people said that he was not aware of a lot of it. Like, I don't think Ben, when he was doing this stuff, he wasn't open, to where anybody and everybody could see what he was doing. He wasn't. He was hiding it, trying his best to hide it. But there were people that were coming forward. There were whispers about it. Some people did know about it. And everybody was kind of busy doing their own thing and doing their own dirt. It's kind of one of those things. Everybody had something on everybody, so nobody could ever tell on anybody, or they'd all get in trouble. Every one of them would go down. Well, that's the way it is. They're all getting ready to go down.
So my charges are downstairs in district. I was charged for the same crime, and upstairs.
Upstairs and downstairs.
It's the same charges.
So what's holding you in here right now?
That,
The escape?
no, the charges that his sister's supposed to.
What charges is that?
Possession. It was an empty bag. There was nothing in it.
How did they get a possession charge? Where did they find a bag?
Now she tells him, you're going to hear it. She tells him she shouldn't be in there. Do you think he does a damn thing? He leaves her sitting there. He doesn't go check and ask. He doesn't do anything. He just lets her tell him, and then he walks out of here.
On me, I had an empty bag.
From where? But I mean,
they deserve it.
You're out in October.
Mm-hmm.
He gets an escape warrant.
Yes.
He goes back to
You're saying
October.
his sister who is in drug court.
Yeah.
So they've sanctioned you.
I don't know what, I haven't seen a judge or nothing since I've been here.
How long you been here?
Since the 4th. I haven't spoken to nobody. They won't tell me nothing.
They didn't tell you what you were charged with, or
Contempt of court.
contempt of court?
Yes. Slander and libel or something like that. I don't even know what that really means.
Typically means you violated some kind of condition of the court system is usually what it is.
But I mean, I understand. I was scared though. He told me they had a holder on me. I don't understand why they didn't even let me out. They had a holder on me.
Okay, so you get out on 1st of October, then you get rearrested at the end of October,
October 20th.
and then you get out again.
Yes, in December.
So you got out again.
That was for the charge. That's when they go to drug court. And then if you can rewind the cameras back that far, you can see me walking out of the jailhouse and him hollering at me walking up to him, and him telling, you can see him talking to me. That's when he told me that his sister was in the jail up in the courthouse right then, and that I better run because they had a holder on me.
Okay, so
it scared me, you know what I'm saying? So I ran.
So we're in October now, and you said that you start having sexual relationships with him in October.
Yes, I had
Relationships.
and sex 3 times in October, within like a 2-week period.
So you had sexual intercourse 3 times with him? And oral sex too?
The first time was oral sex.
So just first time was oral?
Yes.
And the other 3 were just intercourse?
Yes.
And you said one of those times took place at the church parking lot?
Yes, well, no, all of them took place in the church parking lot.
All of them?
Yeah, he would park behind my house.
Okay. All right, so that time frame, you all have had a sexual relationship, you get rearrested, you get back out in December.
Yeah,
okay. Now, what do you get arrested for in October then?
Yep.
That was for the
escape?
Possession charge. Well, in August or October when I went back to jail, that was because they said that I had escaped. Yes, which I hadn't.
So you got out 1st of October, went back in at the end of October, sometime at the end.
It was on the 20th, because the day after my birthday is when they rearrested me. Because the day, like 2 or 3 days before that, I'd been out.
You're having a relationship with him, and then all of a sudden he just pops an escape warrant on you.
Yes.
You go in and you stay till December. Then in December you get out again.
Yes. He thought that we were still going to have a relationship. Like I said, he told me to run, that I haven't contacted him any at all.
And
he was a cop, I didn't think that cops would do that. I was scared.
So now you've got out in December.
Do you hear that? She said, I didn't think he was a cop. I didn't think a cop would do that. I was scared. And he immediately says, so you got out in December. Is that how you respond as an investigator to that kind of statement? I mean, this man needs to be in jail for what he did. And how many cases has he screwed up and skewed them in whatever way his boss told him to? And you know damn well that he ain't the only one that does this. Somebody wrote it in here. Oh, Philip, this guy's a jerk. Well, I thought you said it was a damn circle jerk. And that's exactly what it is. That's what it is. You got Ned Pillersdorf, who took all of this and took this case to the Attorney General's office in the first place. And what did he say? He said, normally they're not happy to help me, especially in no civil rights cases. But with this one, honey, they jumped at the chance. That's not just a little bit suspicious either, is it? That they jumped at the chance to do this investigation. Well, of course they did. They wanted to control it. And everybody from that side was also able to control it. Ned Pillersdorf could put forth a big piece of crap lawsuit that will not succeed and will be dismissed, but it'll be just enough. It'll be just enough that I can start my congressional campaign off of. It's a great diving board. It didn't kind of work. It didn't quite work the way that I'm sure they thought it was going to, though. Nobody ever thought the judge was going to be shot. You got to remember, all of this stuff was put into place before Judge Mullins was shot. When Mickey shot the judge, honey, it opened a Pandora's box. It didn't just open a can of worms. That shooting opened a Pandora's box that we are going to see so many alternate, I don't even know what words to use, alternate universe maybe. We are going to see all of these like secret passages, I think, opening up. I can see it in my mind. I just can't describe it. But it's going to be all of these, like, if you can imagine, like black hole in space, you know, just kind of opening up everywhere and then closing just randomly. These black holes opening up and closing. That's what we're looking at. That's what is going to end up happening. I've been saying for a long time, this is an organized crime syndicate, and these branches just go off everywhere. And you've got so many families that are intertwined because the corruption has been woven into the fabric of the community through the generations. Through the generations, James Wiley Craft, the former mayor of Whitesburg, was the biggest crook of them all. What was his favorite thing to make sure that all of his officers would make sure that they knew what to do? If they pulled over someone for DUI, what are you going to do? Get your driver's license and find out they live in Whitesburg? What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to probably, do you think that they would arrest them and take them to jail for a DUI? Not according to James Wiley Craft. Oh, no. According to James Wiley Craft, they were allegedly to take them home and make sure that they tell them. Now, this is from the policeman. And you make sure that you tell them after you drop them off at home to vote for James Wiley Craft. I mean, you know, if that's what works, then I guess that's how he got a whole lot of his votes. Because if anybody who lived in city limits of Whitesburg had any kind of problems, he's going to make sure that his police officers took care of it.
Amber.
And I was out until February 4th. I got like a week before Christmas.
And when you got out in December, you saw him outside of the courthouse.
Yes, on the side of the courthouse.
Do you remember what day or anything?
It was on a Friday.
You don't know what actual physical date?
I'm wanting to say, it was like a week before Christmas, maybe like the 17th.
It's a good question. Start
Were you
looking,
on house
y'all.
arrest at that
No.
time? So he saw you outside, told you to stay hid, they were gonna,
They had a holder on me.
but you just got out.
Yeah, that's what scared me.
How many days were you out between you got out in December to
To February 4th.
till he told you that, or was that the
That's
same
the
day?
same day. He told me that his sister was in the courthouse right then. He said, my sister's over your drug court. Her name is Holly. He said, they have a holder on you. You need to go hide. But I didn't realize that drug court worked with you, like if it was child support or something, and would have the holders released. I didn't know that. He didn't tell me that.
So sister had a holder to hold you
Yes,
and to run.
yes,
So you did run.
yes, I did. I was scared
Ben told her
Until-
to.
until February 4th. I don't have no new charges. It was just picking me up on that one.
So February 4th, and then you were arrested.
Yes.
So August the 15th, you're arrested, somewhere around there.
Yes, somewhere around there.
You get out in October,
Yes.
you have a relationship with him until end of October.
Yes.
Does he arrest you on escape or somebody else?
He had the police department, the sheriff's department come get me. And then he met me at the jailhouse.
And arrested on escape. Then you stay there till December
Yes,
17th maybe.
yes,
You get out and then he says, you're gonna run.
yes.
So when you get out in October, that's when you enter drug court, right?
In December. In December, when I got out in December, he had it fixed to where I would get drug court. He talked to the judges.
Of course.
So why would his sister, the day you get out enrolled in drug court, automatically put a holder on you
I don't know.
when you just got out of jail that day?
I know. That's what scared me.
Exactly.
So you didn't start,
I didn't start drug court because of that.
you didn't start drug court on the 17th. Or you started drug court on the 17th, the day you got out.
Yes. But I didn't go
Well,
because
it's the same day that he told you that they had a holder on you.
yes.
I mean, this guy don't know his butt from a hole in the ground. And you're supposed to be an attorney general's investigator, investigating drugs and sex and crime, theft, red rum. This is what the best of Kentucky has. I am offended. I'm offended that I've not been able to get a job all this time, and people like this can live high on the hog for the rest of their life, their entire life.
See, the woman, his wife, Angie, was like the big boss at the jailhouse, and she was quitting her job. She gave her position to somebody else. And I guess they just didn't run me through the NCIS or whatever it's called. She just released me.
Did anybody ever go with you all or see you all go to the church or anything?
Yes, I've got witnesses that seen him at my house multiple times, me in his car.
Seen you at the church?
Yes, the church is directly behind my house. There might even be cameras there.
But they saw you in the church parking lot. You had
Yes.
people.
Yes,
Who were those people?
all of my neighbors, because they thought that I was a rat because he kept showing up at my house.
Would any of these neighbors talk to me?
Yes.
What's their names?
Paula Bates, or Paula Campbell, I'm sorry. Paula Campbell, Johnny Potter,
Johnny who?
Potter, Tony Potter, Jordan Eastep, Red Mead. I mean, there's everybody in the holler seen them.
Which of these it would have saw you at the church parking lot?
The people I mentioned.
So Red Mead.
Yes, he was directly across the road.
Jordan Eastep, Tony Potter, Johnny Potter, and Paula Campbell.
Yes.
Do you know that they saw you, or you just think these are people that might?
I know they seen me. They were at my house.
Every one of these were at your house and saw you
Get in the car. Yes.
and then go to a church parking lot.
Yeah, my house is right here. There's a road, the bridge comes around like that, and there's a driveway that goes like this, and it's directly right behind my house. You can park behind my house, get out of your car, step out, and when you step out, you're right in my yard. He was literally parked right behind my house.
Do you have any of these people's phone numbers?
No, not with me where I'm in here. That's all on my phone. Now my fiance's supposed to meet Ned Hillsdorf Monday. He could probably give some of them. I can call him and tell him that he needs the phone numbers.
Could you do that?
Yes.
And do you think that any of these people, any of them, wrote an affidavit for her? If this is Jennifer, she didn't live long enough to get all that done. But remember also, her statute of limitations. See, I don't even trust any of the details of any of this case, because they kept getting shut down at every time they would try to talk. And all they had to do was pull the records. If they had pulled all of the records and did search warrants on the girls' phones too. Like, I'm not trained in lawyering and subpoenas, so I'm not really sure what all they're allowed to do with that, but it doesn't hurt to try. It doesn't hurt to start to think about that stuff. There's a way to get what you're needing somehow. You just got to figure it out. They could have gotten this information and gotten it correctly. Like, I just don't trust it. Like, why would Ned even file the lawsuit if he knew that the statute of limitations on Jennifer Hill was like 2 years past? He knew better than that. He knew they were going to dismiss it. It wasn't going to survive that. That's a statute. That's something that an attorney would absolutely know. Same thing here.
To every one of those, it'd be a lot easier to. So there was no kind of. You said there was maybe some messages on your phone from him.
Yes.
Was there anything of sexual nature, or is it?
He pretty much just the first. No, I can't really remember. I started racing because of my husband. You know what I'm saying? My husband didn't know about this until afterward. But he'd be like, he'd message me, he'd say, "Are you home? I'm riding up."
So if we find your phone, there's nothing going to be on it that's going to show any kind of from
I
him.
really can't remember. I remember erasing. I really can't remember. If you can.
So you think you erased them?
Yeah, I know I erased them.
You know you erased them.
Search
But, I
warrants
mean,
will show
And
it.
those were just text messages, right?
Yes.
You didn't do any kind of Facebook?
No.
Even if she erased them, if they would have done a search warrant on the girls' phones, I'm pretty sure all they needed was the phone number. They would have gotten her records as well. But I got the phone, or I got the whole discovery for Ben's case, and I don't think it's got her stuff in there. I don't think it's any of the girls' phones that were searched like that. I'm pretty sure it was just Ben's messenger and Mickey's work messenger. I'm not sure if we got text messages or not. I'm pretty sure it was mostly just Facebook, but I could be wrong about that, but I don't remember seeing any messages, text messages that weren't Facebook Messenger. That's kind of that's odd, ain't it? I'll have to go back and look and see if I've got any text messages in that discovery.
Nothing.
No.
What made you decide to tell your story?
Because he's doing me wrong. I feel like he should be in trouble because he shouldn't be putting me through this and him sitting over at his office behind his desk. And there's no telling how many other people he's done this to.
Now wait, listen at it, buddy. He accuses her pretty much of lying. I know if he would have said this to me in the tone of voice that he just said it, I would have taken it that way. I would have been very offended and intimidated.
You know, I almost lost my husband over this.
How did you know to get in touch with Ned Pillersdorf?
I called him to ask him about taking my case, or you know, just a lawyer.
We don't have to have some kind of a conspiracy to contact Ned Pillersdorf. That's kind of the way that we've all been conditioned here, that if you need an attorney that's good, that gets anything done, Ned Pillersdorf is just the name that is out there. That's just his reputation. So I don't think he can go by that. I don't think he can say, oh, well, what made you go to Ned? I mean, this is offensive. I'm offended for her.
My husband, he's staying in Martin right now in Floyd County, and he just looked up a lawyer, and he was one of the first ones he found.
Exactly. She
And
was
you all just told Ned about this?
Yes. Because my husband said that he was railroading me. Is what he said.
Did you all hear about in the news and all this other
No,
stuff? Did your husband?
I don't think so. Why, is it on the news?
There was some stuff.
Oh, no. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a drug addict. I don't even pay attention to the news.
Even if it was on the news, what the hell does that have to do with anything? That's how a lot of these cases are getting more people, because we're bringing awareness to the public. But the way that he was saying there, that it's bad if they hear it on the news, then that means you're just jumping on the bandwagon of false accusations. I mean, this guy, he's going to have to answer for all of this one day. He'll have to answer to God for this. And I tell you, honey, I fear God way more than I fear any man on earth. He'll have to answer to God for this. He deserves or these women deserve an apology from him.
You think your husband may have?
No, I don't think so. He's a drug addict too, I'm not gonna lie.
No, that's fine. Just because you're a drug addict doesn't make you not a human.
It really makes him mad that being done to him. I'm about to start crying because it makes it sits in his stomach. Because I love my husband, I wouldn't have done it to him. You know, I just didn't want to go back to jail.
So let's go back to the October time frame.
So now she just starts crying and saying she didn't want to go back to jail. She's getting ready to break down and give a good statement. And he stops her and says, let's go back to October. He stopped her right there. I mean, man, oh man, oh man. I just don't know how I get through this interview. I don't know how these girls got through these interviews. You know, it's just God. God has got to have every single one of them. And I can't imagine the guilt and the shame and just how low these women felt after these interviews. He is re-victimizing each one of these women, making them feel like it was all on them, like they were the perpetrators. Like that's how I take these interviews. He is grilling them as if they are the guilty party. They took advantage of a poor, innocent bailiff, court bailiff like Ben Fields. These awful prostitute, jailbird, drug addicts. They corrupted and took advantage of this poor, innocent court bailiff. Man, I tell you what, if I was governor, I would demand an investigation into everybody that touched that case. And I would absolutely try and indict every person that had anything to do with it. If you intentionally tried to mislead the court and mislead this case, this or any others, I would absolutely demand accountability. They cannot keep letting these people get by with this kind of behavior. It's absolutely unacceptable, and we have to demand some kind of an action. If we don't, they just get away with it all. They just keep on going and going and going. You give them an inch and they'll take a freaking mile every time.
Here. So he's coming to your house. What's he saying when he's coming to your house all these times?
I would have too.
Like the first night when I told you when the cops come, he was being really hateful to me. I wasn't high nothing. I was straight because where I was in house arrest, my granddaughter was just born. And he said that I was high and he'd take me and get me a drug screen, and I told him to take me because I could have passed a drug screen. And then he was like, no, he said, if I ever have to come out here again, I'm taking you to fucking jail. And then like a day or two later is when he comes to my house and had me get in the car and get him oral sex.
And what do you mean by he made you? Did he physically?
If I didn't, he was going to put me back in jail.
Is that what he told you?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. I had no other choice. I hadn't done it. I would went back to jail.
Well, where's it at? We ain't got nobody that'll do it. The feds are the ones that prosecuted Scott Blair. Negotiating with Ned Pillersdorf.
He told you that if you didn't have oral sex, or
if I didn't make him happy, that I wouldn't be happy. He said he would have me put back in jail, and he had done it once before, and I knew he could do it again. And I got out on a Friday, and then on Monday he's back there to rearrest me. And my husband had just paid $100 for that house arrest. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have the money for that. And I hadn't done nothing wrong, and he rearrested me because I denied him the first time. And I was afraid if I didn't do it, that he would put me back in jail, which I ended up back in jail anyway because of it.
Okay, so when you're saying that you denied him,
I told him no the first time.
And that was when you were arrested in August.
No, this was the year and a half or 2 years ago, the first time. I got out on a Friday. That very same Monday, he came. Very next Monday, he came. I was only out.
Do you remember was it an escape charge then, or?
No, I had done nothing wrong.
What did he arrest you for, though?
He just come back, told me I needed to get my box. He put me and there was another cop with him. He put me in the back of the cruiser and he took me back to jail. for no reason. I hadn't done nothing wrong. I just had denied him. I told him no. And he rearrested me.
And that was at the,
And I've got proof of that too. I've got witnesses that know that he done that.
and that was a year and a half.
Yeah, before all this happened. So I knew if I didn't do it this time, he would definitely have me put back in jail again. I felt like I had no other choice.
But you don't remember what charge that was when they came and got you?
I believe that was my first possession charge.
Did you have something on you?
No, an empty bag. That's all it was an empty bag. But they charged me with possession. And right now,
But I
you
thought,
can check the courthouse. Yeah,
I thought that what you're in here right now getting held for is the empty bag
that's what it is.
from a year and a half ago.
Somehow, I don't know what's going on. I've got the same charge.
I'm kind of confused.
Now, that's how a lot of these people have also been there, detective. They've had them so confused, but when they're in drug court, guess what? They don't have a lawyer. You don't have any representation. You are at their mercy. So they can leave you sit in jail as long as they want to. They can do anything they want to you once they've got you in drug court. You don't have any attorney. You don't have no rights whatsoever. And they can just do whatever they want. This was Super Troopers. Instead of Super Troopers, this was, the equivalent of drug court and the jail. Like, I really hate to say it, because Judge Kraft is always kind of cool every time I go in front of him. He really is. I've never had any trouble with Judge Kraft personally. I've not heard of Judge Kraft in the SMEC stuff. But this is his courtroom. Drug court is his drug court. Ben Fields was his house arrest person. His sister is his drug court supervisor. Robbie Kinser's been there for over a decade. Somebody has to be held accountable for all of this stuff. But there ain't nobody being held accountable. Nobody. They just, I guess, feel like they're above the law and they can just do as they please. Because as long as Judge Kraft is condoning it, there's no discipline. Nobody's going to be disciplined. Nobody will be reprimanded except for the drug court people. It's shameful.
I got the same charges right now, upstairs and downstairs, and I've got drug court, upstairs court. And downstairs, I've also got charges on it that I've got sentenced to for probation for the same charges. I thought that was double jeopardy. I'm being charged for the same crime twice.
So let's go back a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Really,
You're arrested.
On a possession charge.
On a possession.
Yes.
And he makes his proposition to you and you don't take him up on it.
No.
You get out of jail.
Yes. And I was out from that Friday. I was out Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday he was there to rearrest me. He put me back in jail. And then I got in trouble again. All I had was a pipe on that time. I didn't have no kind of dope on me. All they had me for was an empty bag and a pipe. And now I'm here because they got me for possession.
So
give him a trophy.
I guess because of COVID, it took so long for the court. I'm not really sure.
So a year and a half, 2 years ago, you get arrested, he makes a proposition to you, you deny it.
And he rearrested me.
2 or 3 days later, you get rearrested for you're saying a baggie that was nothing.
No, I was arrested at that before I got on house arrest, I was arrested for a baby. That was when I got the house arrest.
Okay, but what did he arrest you for the 2 or 3 days later?
Nothing. I hadn't done nothing wrong. He come to my house.
But what was the charge? I'm not saying you did anything wrong, but they had to charge you with something. They
He
can't
didn't
just,
charge me nothing.
they can't just come get you.
He did.
He did.
I promise you. If you look at it, I had no other charges. He come and he picked me back up and he took me back to jail.
Now, if you were a police officer or an investigator or something, and somebody was telling you that this, he just got done telling her, this can't happen. They can't do this. And you found out that they were, in fact, doing this to people, wouldn't you, like, start to stop it? Like, aren't you then bound to stop a sex trafficking ring? Aren't you like duty bound as an investigator then to do something about it? Because I don't think he does. I don't think none of them did anything. And you know what else? It makes me wonder if she didn't have a stronger case with her. I just wonder if she didn't have a stronger case, and did that get her killed? Jennifer. Was Jennifer's, was it more provable? Was it a stronger case? Was it more provable? I don't know. But did it get her killed? Because she died of an overdose, a very suspicious overdose that she did not give to herself. But who's going to even look at it? Nobody.
I have no other charges.
And you're saying that was around October, you can remember any date?
That was around, let's see. I'm wanting to say it was in the summertime, because I was living in, let's see.
All they got to do is
Summertime.
pull up
It was
her
around
records, her jail records, her court records.
maybe August that year. July, August, something like that.
When that
Easy.
you got,
When I got arrested the very first time.
when he first
Yes.
made the proposition to
Yes.
you. So you're saying it was probably around,
Around July or August. The very first time. And I had done nothing wrong. I was at my camper. I was asleep when he pulled up.
so you got, and just, I apologize, there's a lot of dates, a lot of charges we gotta sort through here.
Yes.
So I can get this right. So around August or July of a year and a half, 2 years ago, you were arrested.
Yes.
He propositioned you at that moment in time,
Yes.
around that August or July.
Yes.
You didn't take him up. You got out of jail.
Yes. I was out for.
Then you got rearrested in October.
Yes.
And,
This past year.
okay, look,
Okay, a year and a half or 2 years ago was around August or July.
yeah. And you stay in jail till how long?
I'm gonna say at least 2 months.
So that would put you around that October time frame.
Yeah.
And then you get out.
Let's see. I got out, it was during summer, so I was arrested around July or August, middle of July, beginning of August. I got out around September because it was still pretty hot out. I was out from a Monday to a Friday, or from a Friday to a Monday. And then that Monday, he showed up at my camper, knocked on my door, and told me to get my box, and so they took me back to jail. He had another cop with him.
Okay,
I
so
had not done nothing wrong.
So it's the September charge is when he come got the box and you.
Yes. That was the very first time. Because I told
So
him.
you got arrested in August or July, got out in September, and you went back in September.
You're talking about 2 years later?
Yeah,
Yes.
then rearrested in September. And you think that was because you didn't take him up on it
Yes.
that time? And you don't know what charge that was, or you're saying there wasn't a charge? You just,
When he rearrested me, no.
did it give you a copy of the citation?
No. I didn't get a citation because I didn't have no other new charges. Luther Tackett was working there, and because he said, "Does she have any charges?" He said, "No."
Do you remember what deputy was with him then?
I'm wanting to say his last name was Adams. No, Holbrook.
So then they fast forward a year and a half after that deal, that's when you get arrested in around August the 15th.
Yes.
And then you get out in October, and then you're back on house arrest. And he starts coming to your house
Yes.
saying, if you don't
Yes.
have sexual favors with me,
Yes.
you're gonna go back to jail. So you felt you had to have sex with him.
And he meant it.
Okay. During the sexual times, did he like physically restrain you, or was it a consensual other than you thought you didn't want to go back to jail? You see what I'm saying?
He didn't make me, but he made me.
But he didn't physically
No.
make you.
No.
You were a willing participant in it by the physical
Yes.
standards, but by mentally you thought that you had to. Okay, that
This man I cannot believe that this is the best that our state has. I just cannot get over it. Like, I'm going to have nightmares tonight. I am about to cry my eyes out right now. I'm absolutely about to bawl because this is so bad. I cannot even imagine being her, sitting there listening to this fool. I would have probably went to the hole because I would have cussed him to where a fly wouldn't have landed on him.
Yes.
That's what I was, trying to get. Did he hold you physically, hold you down? Did he ever physically hurt you?
Not physically, mentally, yes. I about lost my family over this.
He destroyed their lives.
And then from the 1st of October, you got rearrested at the end of October, and that was for escape.
Yeah, but which he didn't hit me with escape because the ankle bracelet was not cut.
But that's what the charge was, right?
Yes. To rearrest me for, yes.
Why do you think all of a sudden he just turned on you after y'all were having a
Because
sexual?
I denied him that last time. When he comes, I went and paid my ankle bracelet fee that day. It was on Thursday. And he said, "Can I come to your house?" I said, "No, my husband's home." And then the next day, there might be a message on my phone because the next day is when he was saying that he was mad at me for telling him no. And I told him, I said, well, my husband's home. And then like 3 days later, let's see. Yeah, like 3 days later is when he tried to say escape. Because it's pretty much because I told him no.
Okay. So at the end of October, he's wanting to have sex with you again. You tell him no because your husband's there. Next thing you know, you're getting a warrant.
Yes.
You've got an escape charge.
Yes.
And now you're staying there till December. Then you get out for drug court the same
Which he
day.
had fixed up.
he did that, and then he sees you outside the courtroom, tells you to stay run. They've got a holder on you, so you stay hid till now.
Yes.
Was there a holder on you?
Apparently there was from McGoffin County. It was a child support holder. But I didn't know that his sister could have had it fixed to where I wouldn't have been in trouble. She could have let me stay in drug court and then actually helped me with my child support. I didn't know that.
He
So
set
it
her
was
up.
a McGoffin County warrant.
Yes.
What the holder that he was talking about was a McGoffin
Yes.
County warrant.
And there's still one, so you can even check that out.
He didn't check out nothing. He didn't do nothing.
Okay. And then that's what's got you in here now.
No, Letcher County.
For what?
No, dude.
For the contempt of court.
Follow.
And I haven't seen a judge or nothing. I haven't talked to nobody.
You don't know what you contempted?
No. I guess because of where I've left.
All right, so we have no idea where the phone's at,
No, it was at the Letcher County jail.
but it's lost. You're saying
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
They stole it.
And his wife worked there, so I don't know. It was weird that his wife quit right before I got out. I think that she knew something was about ready to go down.
What was the phone
It was,
number? Is that AT&T?
yes. And you can also check this, my fiance's number. Because he messaged both phones.
She didn't quit either.
He messaged both.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other number? That's AT&T too.
Yes.
But as far as messages being on, like if I could find these phones, there's not going to be any messages on the phone physically because you've erased them.
Yes. But I mean, if you can get in like to the hard drive or something, you find them.
Search warrant.
Of
Yeah.
course, we got to find the phones. Does your husband have that phone?
No, but he's had that same phone number for years.
But the phone, we don't know where either of those phones are. Both of those phones are gone.
That last
Same phone numbers, but the phone, actual physical phones, we're not going to
That
find, right?
actual physical phone is at the jobs.
So that's what you think, but they're telling you it's not.
Yeah.
How about where's it at?
My husband has it. My fiance does.
That's the actual phone that you
I'm pretty sure,
texted?
yes. Yes, I'm pretty sure.
What's your husband's name?
They just sent him to get all the information and see
Which
what all
phone
he
did he
knew.
message more? What do you think might be on?
I'm not really sure. I know if he messaged it, I would have erased it.
Was there any sexual discussion? Did he say anything sexual on these phones, or was it
Yeah,
just
I don't
conversation?
see it.
Nothing on Facebook.
No.
Did anybody ever hear any conversation that you all had, like on the phone, that was sexual in nature, or?
Only one time that someone walked in on us was at the courthouse. I was there paying my house arrest thing, and in front of the courthouse, there's double doors you can walk in, and there's another set of double doors. We were standing there talking. I was trying to record it with my phone for me to have proof that he had done something. And when I walked in, because I was doing school all night too, I had my tablet with me and my phone. And when I walked in, he took them both from me. There's cameras there, you might be able to rewind them and see that. And he turns them both off. And we're standing here talking, and he's telling me that he's going to be at the next day. And then a woman and a man walked in to pay theirs, and then he's just quit talking. And that's the phone that disappeared.
Do you know anybody of the name?
I don't think so. No.
He just asked her about another
Nobody.
name.
When's the last
Just
time?
in jail.
When's the last time you talked to her?
Probably a year, maybe.
I mean, are they allowed to do that?
I'm not friends with her. I've been in jail with her, so I'm there.
Ask about other witnesses? I mean, I'm sure they can do whatever they want, but is that ethical? Are you all conspiring and making this story up? It's basically what he's
You don't know
asking.
how long you're gonna be here.
She's not even spoke to her judge,
When you
dude.
get out, it's gonna be your number.
Yeah, it's through the, it's through AT&T, but the government pays it, so I can reach me.
This guy has a really, really great retirement. He has really, really great medical and dental benefits that him and his entire family get to enjoy. I'm sure he has a very, very sufficient monthly income to take care of his family so well and comfortably. And this is the level of competence that keeps his family in such a lap of luxury.
Well, if you wanna leave your card, I can get the card.
Now, you're saying he's staying in Floyd County. Is that where you're gonna go when you get out, or you going to,
I'm going to Floyd County.
what's the address in Floyd County? You're like, right
At my stepson's, they're getting ready to move, so I'm not really sure the address would be until after they move, because they just got roofing taxes.
I'll tell you, I'm gonna give you my business card.
Okay.
When you get out, if you do, just touch base with me.
If you do.
That way I know where you're at, and, cause I may have some more questions, I may have some more, I'm trying to think of anything. And I'll explain this to you, Jennifer, you know,
It is Jennifer.
obviously when, you know, we take these accusations pretty serious,
Yes.
but we obviously have to back it up with evidence.
Yes. I
You know,
understand.
you know, if we had messages, if we had something, you know, it would obviously be greatly beneficial to us.
What would it matter? Sabrina had
I
messages.
don't know, what I'll be able to come up with or what I'll be able to do to help you.
Okay.
Maybe nothing.
But as long as he gets in trouble, that's all that matters to me.
Well,
He shouldn't be allowed to do that to people.
you know, obviously I can't just go and charge him with a crime just based upon what you say.
Yes.
I've got to have something else. But what I can tell you is I will do my very best to try to find something else to backs all this up.
Okay.
That's all I can do, you know.
As long as he
Such a
gets in trouble, that's
liar.
all I'm really worried about, because he shouldn't be allowed to do that to people, especially if he's done it to other people.
What do you think should happen to him?
I think he should go to jail, because he's sitting there threatening people with the jail, and I think that's where he should be. If he's really doing that to as many people as he's doing it to, if there's 3 people already, then he shouldn't be doing it at all. And I think he should be in jail.
How do you know there's 3 people?
Because you mentioned 2, and then me.
She's not stupid, dumbass.
You just told me 2 names.
Yeah, but I never said that. I just asked if you knew those
Well,
people.
So she's not stupid, dumbass.
But like I said, on your side, you know, we've got to find
I understand.
some corroborating information, and that's what I'm sitting there trying to go through my head of everything I could think of right now. That's, you know, we know the church.
No, you
You know,
ain't.
videos don't release. You know, videos only last certain good systems maybe only a couple of months,
Yeah,
and then they rewrite. So you know, that's been a while.
yeah,
You know, you're talking October when, you know, of 2021.
yeah,
Chances of video being there is probably slim to none.
yeah.
I'd really more like none.
Competence.
So, I'm gonna do my very best. You know how, like these people that you told me where I could find them at.
They were writing the Paula Campbell is.
From what I was told, Matt Easter's mommy was like a housekeeper or a school teacher or something. Matt Easter's mommy allegedly was connected to somebody, some bigwig somewhere. And so that's what I was told. Matt Easter, how he got his foot in the door at such a high level position was because of who his mommy was connected to. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but the way Kentucky is, I believe it. I believe it, especially after listening to all these interviews. This man is a freaking joke. And any investigation that had him in charge, I wouldn't trust it. No way.
In the home, it's,
Do you think, so you think she,
yeah, that's.
He's
that
their
was all-
fixer.
so she lives at your house?
Yes,
He's the Attorney General's
How
fixer.
about Johnny and Tony and George?
Johnny lives at 3, let's see,
I don't know how you say it any other way.
If you don't know the addresses, and obviously I gotta,
I've got that, Johnny was my grandparents' old house, I would have to get hold of my.
how about, do you know Tony's address? Jordan's address?
I don't know George,
How about Red?
Red Mead,
She's in jail.
no, he's the man that owns the
Okay.
fruit stand, anybody that up there would know, he's got like an old fruit stand right in front of his house.
What's the chances of you getting in touch with your husband and saying, I gotta get these numbers for me?
I
Do
can
my
get-
job for me.
And then you can have your husband, you can pass that, my cell's on here,
Okay,
pass that number to him, just, or you can tell him to give him to Ned and have Ned call me.
okay,
Either way is fine with me.
oh, yeah.
But if you can get me these numbers, I'll reach out and see if we can't start talking to people.
Okay,
I still don't know what we can do. A lot of this stuff, information will go to a prosecutor. She'll look at everything and decide what we can and can't use. I'll do my very best to try to back your story up,
okay.
my very best.
Appreciate it.
Because, you know,
Yeah.
we don't appreciate stuff like that happening,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't happen to you. And if we can do something to stop this from happening, then that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I'll do.
You think?
Like I said, no
No, you didn't.
guarantees.
Well,
You know,
yeah, I understand that.
You probably know the law just as good as I do.
Yeah, I'm just,
You know the law just as good as I do. And this is a drug addict woman who has been caught in a SMEX trafficking syndicate. He says in one breath, we got to stop this. You know, if there's anything I can do and this is happening, then we've got to stop this. But there's no guarantee. I mean, he just, whatever. I think he was just talking to hear himself talk. None of it even made. Hey, none of it even made any sense.
glad they ain't gonna be able to do it to nobody else.
Hey,
Well, I don't know what'll happen to him. It's not my decision. And like I said, you know, I'm here on your charge, not anybody else's.
he's here on her charge, not anybody else's. Dude, you weren't even there on her charge. None of you even knew what she was charged with. But I'll quit screaming.
And if I can prove that he's done this to you, you can guarantee that we'll try to do our best to do something about it.
Okay.
You're a liar. You're a
You know,
liar.
And obviously, you know, I don't know if I can get some records. I'll have to talk to our cyber guys to see if they think if we can subpoena your phone records, I don't think they show the actual messages. I'm not for sure, but I'll double check that for you.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do,
Obviously, the
dude.
camera idea, it's a great idea. God only knows we wish we had
Yeah.
everything on camera. Wish you could have videotaped it. Wish you could have recorded something.
That's what I was trying to do, and he took my, see, that's what I'm saying, my phone.
If we had something like that, well, we'd be a smoking gun.
Yeah,
But unfortunately, all we have right now is maybe some witnesses that saw you go back to that,
yes,
and that we might be able to put some more stuff together, and that may be enough.
okay.
But I'll give you my word that I'll do my best to try to fix this for you.
Okay.
You know, to try to see what's out there. No guarantees. So don't, you know, nothing.
That's fine.
If, you know, year down the road, if he's not charged in your behalf, don't be mad at me
I won't be.
because there was just nothing we could do.
Okay.
But I will guarantee you, I will do my best to try to find out what happened for you.
Thank you very much.
And that's really, you know, that's about all I can do.
Okay, I really do appreciate it.
But, you know, I take your word as it is, and just because you're a drug addict and in that position, you have no right to be treated like that, and I'll do my best to see that it doesn't happen. Okay?
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And like I said, get up with your husband and get me those numbers as quick as you can.
Okay.
That
Can I
way,
contact you over the weekend?
you can try. Sometimes I don't have my phone. You can leave a message.
Okay.
But just as quick as he can get them, get those to me, and we'll go from there.
Thank you very much.
Very well. Thank you all so much.
It's a good question. I'm not sure. I'll go ahead and close that out. He just gets on there and says, it's the end of the recording. Well, you know, it just, I don't even know what to say. Oh, look there. Cindy. The world is watching, Letcher County. You better think about which side of history you want to be on. But people don't care. They don't care. Honey, she went to, somebody offered to do a pill with her or something, get high with her, get her high. And so she stopped allegedly to go get high with these people. And she went into a room with them, and somebody that she had never known before, never seen before, and she didn't know. You know, they used drugs intravenously. A lot of them did. And so somebody's fixed her up and shot her up, and it wasn't what she thought it was. And the next thing you know, she was dead. And nobody had Narcan. Nobody had any kind of, well, Narcan is the only thing I know that would have saved her. And they said, I don't know if it's true or not, but I was told that her family said that the ambulance didn't come for like 3 hours. So I think they were giving her CPR and stuff, and nobody showed up. So I don't know how that really went, but that's what I was told. So I don't know. Thank you, Jesus, for another day being able to come together in your name, Lord. I'm just grateful that you're exposing all this now. Lord, so much suffering and just devastation to people's lives that have been going on in the shadows, Lord. You know, we only see a little bitty tiny nugget of what all's been going on, Lord, but you have been witness to every single bit of it, Lord. You see all those victims. You see all the people that have been affected and have been touched by the evil that has been going on in Letcher County and in eastern Kentucky. In our country, period. This is not just an eastern Kentucky issue. This is not just a Kentucky issue, Lord. This affects our entire country. The corruption that we're seeing, Lord, is just unbelievable. And it's to levels that we never even thought could be possible. I pray, Lord, I plead your precious blood down over top of all of us, Lord, that are looking for answers. I plead your blood down over top of the investigations that we're doing, Lord. I pray that you reveal all things. Holy Lord, you know, we have been hearing that you always bring what's done in the dark to the light. And we rebuke the devil in the name of Jesus. And we just pray for the revelation. We pray for the exposure. We pray for the light, the disinfectant, Lord, of your precious light. Hallelujah, hallelujah. I pray for understanding. I pray for the blind to see, for the lame to walk. Lord, you can do all things. You can heal each and every single one of us from the devastating effects of addiction and anything else that keeps us bound. I plead your precious blood over every one of us who are struggling with some kind of whatever we're struggling with, Lord, the need. I pray that you will heal each of us according to that need, no matter what it is. You know all things. You know what the needs are, Lord. Each one of them. You know how many hairs each of us have on our heads. I pray for the lost tonight, that you'll just touch their hearts, that you'll soften their hearts, and you'll guide them to you. Guide them to you, Jesus. Hallelujah, hallelujah. I pray that you forgive me for my sins today, Lord. I always fall short. I'm never good enough, and I'll never be. I pray for your mercy and your grace, Lord, in abundance. Thank you, Jesus. I pray that you will always make a way. And I'm thankful that you do always make a way, no matter what. Thank you, Jesus. Until we meet again tomorrow, Lord, I give you all praise, honor, and glory in Jesus' name. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, guys. We will see you all tomorrow. We got a couple things. I got some good IRS filings. And so we're going to be looking at some numbers. We're going to look at some numbers. We're going to be investigating the finances. Follow the money, honey. All right, y'all. Peace out, Girl Scout. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Bye.
Can't hide from hillbilly crime. You can't hide from hillbilly crime. You may not know that there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dog passed away, get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pines.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask the cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise. All the